This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. October 10th is World Mental Health Day, and this year we're saying thank you, therapists. BetterHelp therapists have helped over 5 million people worldwide on their mental health journeys. That's millions of stories, millions of journeys, and behind every one is a therapist who showed up, listened, and helped someone take a step forward. Moments in therapy, like the right question, a safe space to cry, or a small win, can change lives. This World Mental Health Day, BetterHelp is honoring those connections and the therapists who make them possible, while showing how easy it is to get guidance from a licensed therapist online with BetterHelp. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it works with an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session based on over 1.7 million client reviews. This World Mental Health Day, we're celebrating the therapists who've helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/PFF. That's betterhelp.com/PFF. Final game in our review was a very, very fun Friday night game that Dalton and I were at Mount Lookout Tavern, I believe we went to.
Oh, great place.
To watch, yeah, great place. We were there from 6:30 p.m. until, 2 a.m.?
Well, because we watched all 15 innings of Mariners-Tigers there, which was just ridiculous. Condolences to Mitch Kaiser.
It went from a restaurant to a full club by the time we left.
Yeah.
That place. Yeah.
And we were just locked in on USF North Texas and Mariners-Tigers, as it should be.
Yeah, the Guinnesses were flowing on that day. It was a great night watching this game and, of course, that unbelievable baseball game, too. But about this game, USF winning 63-36 over North Texas. Let's go over the highest grade player, starting off with number 24, USF. Highest grade player was wide receiver Jeremiah Coger, 79.3. Tight end Jonathan Eccles, 78.1. Rodney Hill, the linebacker, 77.4. Christian Neptune, 76.8. Wide receiver Corey Pettigrew, 76.6. Byron Brown, 74.1. You see right there, 4 of the top 5 for USF were pass catchers for the Bulls in this one, which kind of tells the story of this game. North Texas, their highest grade players in the loss. Quarterback Colin Lewis, 83.6. Wide receiver Cameron Dorner, 83.1. Quinton Hammonds, the safety, 81.2. Edge rusher Ethan Day, 79. Miles Coleman, the wide receiver, 78.3. And Drew Messmaker with a 73.1 grade. Dalton, what told the story in this game?
So USF, even when they were staggered in the first half and they got a big touchdown to tie the game right before halftime, they just keep on the gas, and in the second half their offense was just unreal. I'm pulling up a stat. I want to make sure this week nobody else passed it, but I don't think they did. So USF in the second half of this game as a team had a 92.5 offense grade. Okay, in the first half that was a 63.2. I'm checking to make sure nobody else has passed this week. I don't think they have. That is the second highest by any team in any half this season against an FBS defense. There's some FCS, Indiana and Indiana State and things like that where they get passed up there. But that is the second highest by any FBS team against another FBS team in any half this season. The only one higher was, it still is the second, 92.5. The only one higher was Boise State's second half against Air Force back in week 4. They scored 4 touchdowns in 4 drives. 0.695 EPA per play, 9.1 yards per play, 10 explosive plays, 6 runs and 4 passes, and what's the big number that I know you're going to talk about the other side of this? No turnovers. I'll be honest with you right now, and I'm going to throw most impressive. I want the true freshman receiver Jeremiah Coger mentioned here because the last 2 weeks, all of a sudden, he started to get targets. He got 3 touchdowns the last 2 weeks. He's 6'3", he's 210, and he looks like an Alex Golesh-type receiver. The only thing stopping this USF offense is themselves and Byron Brown's ball security. Because right now, the last couple years, they've had Sean Atkins. He was a solid route runner, slot receiver, chain mover. But this Alex Golesh offense is the same as Josh Heupel's at Tennessee. It's meant to have vertical threats down the field, run the ball, play with hyper tempo, throw it downfield. They've got 3 guys. They've never had this since Alex Golesh has been at USF. They got 3 guys right now who can get vertical. Chaz Nimrod, Keyshawn Singleton, And now Jeremiah Coger, the freshman, who looks like a friggin' tank. 6'3", 210 is a true freshman. I don't know where. And he had a million offers, especially from like ACC schools. He had a ton of Power 4 offers. And he goes to USF because of this offense. If they have 3 legitimate vertical threats on the outside, I'm telling you right now, the only thing stopping this USF offense is themselves and Byron Brown. Just if he plays clean football, that's all this comes down to. If Byron Brown just plays clean football, they're going to score a zillion points every week, just like this, because the tempo and the number of different threats is unbelievable from this team right now. This is a different receiving core. That's the biggest difference that's in this offense for me from the last 2 years. This is a way different receiving core than they've had the last couple of years.
Yeah, USF, for me, the stat is they scored 21 points in 2 minutes and 16 seconds.
That'll do it.
In the third quarter. All right, this game was so incredibly sloppy in the first half. Both teams had 3 turnovers in the first half. And we went to halftime tied at 21-21. So we had all to play for in the second half. And Dalton and I both thought it was going to be an incredible second half. We thought there was a chance it might go as long as the baseball game did, honestly. But all of a sudden, USF came out in the second half and scored 3 touchdowns in an instant in this game. A 75-yard touchdown drive in about 1 minute to open the third quarter. Then they picked off Drew Messmaker and returned to the 15-yard line. USF scored within 2 plays after that. Then a 34-yard fumble return for a touchdown a few plays after that, too. So you went from a tied ball game at 21-21 going into halftime. All of a sudden, it was 42-21 USF with about 11 minutes left to go in the third quarter. So within 4 minutes, it goes from a tie game to a 21-point lead for USF, and ultimately an insurmountable 21-point lead, despite North Texas' best efforts at the end of the game, too. But just an incredible job by USF, just in an instant, going from a tie game to a 3-touchdown lead, and USF cleaned it up in the second half with the turnovers. North Texas did not clean it up with the turnovers in the second half, and really that's what changed the game for me.
Absolutely. You cannot, with explosive as this USF offense is, ground and air, you can't make mistake. You can't have 5 turnovers in a game. You can't have 3. You might not even be able to have 2. I mean, this USF team right now, the 2 X factors are just look. They got to play Memphis and Navy on the road, both. Okay, so their defense is solid, and they don't need the best defense in the country because of the way they score points. But as long as they don't have just a blow up game where they give up 45-50 on defense, and I really believe that the X factor in USF winning this conference and making the playoff or not. Now they have the receivers. They got to stay. I've seen like 8 running backs this year, and they're all the same. They're all good. Their defense, especially, I love those 2 linebackers. Mac Harris and Jalen Schuler are so good, and if they're not great in the secondary, they're at least forcing turnovers also, right? It's going to be Byron Brown in the ball security. Can he come out against Memphis and Navy and not turn and play just clean football? Yeah. I think Alex Golesh is telling his team, because they've turned the ball over now, I think 7 times in the last 2 weeks. If Alex Golesh ever gets this team to play clean football for 60 minutes, they're not going to lose in the regular season. They're going to win this conference. They're going to go to the playoff. I think Byron Brown in the ball security is the biggest X factor, maybe in the entire American conference, because they can be the best team.
Yeah, I want to shout out the USF run defense real quick. So I mentioned in the preview how Caleb Hawkins and North Texas ground game can give USF a lot of issues. Well, they proved me wrong, because USF did a really good job at run defense. 70.1 run defense grade, negative .037 EPA per run, only 117 yards allowed on the ground, with negative .3 yards before contact allowed per attempt too. So they were hitting ball carriers early. The North Texas offensive line could not get any push in the run game. Jalen Schuler and Devin Lee each had 79.4 run defense grades. They made the Mean Green way too reliant on Drew Messmaker, who is a talented quarterback. He's a redshirt freshman. But they were needed to win this game with Messmaker playing complementary football with Caleb Hawkins and the ground game. And I thought Hawkins actually had a solid game all around, but the North Texas offensive line just got dominated by USF in this one. And that's why USF's run D was outstanding. And what I thought was a mismatch for USF in this one, and they're going to lose, they actually won that matchup against North Texas.
Think about this. 27 carries for 117 yards. 64 of them came on 3 carries. That means the other 24 carries, they had 53 yards. No,
Yep.
this defense it's a solid unit. It is. I think there's times where they got to get a little better with the tackling, but otherwise, this is a solid unit. Actually, the only other thing I worry about with this USF team, there's not much pass rush. Todd Orlando's trying to find a way to manufacture the pass rush. The run defense is good. The secondary is better than it's ever been since Golish has been there. That's the one other thing I worry about in a matchup, especially with Memphis, is if they don't get to Brendan Lewis at all, and we're just going to see a 55-50 or some nonsense kind of game when they go to Memphis in a couple of weeks. But that's the one other thing on this team is they don't have a pass rush much to speak of yet, and Todd Orlando's trying to figure that part out. But no, just a great game, and they took haymakers in the first half of this game and came back and won it. It was a big-time win on the road.
Yeah, big-time win for USF, proving right now they're the favorite, I would say, to win the American Conference with a huge win over one of the other really good teams in the conference in North Texas.